Hi, everybody, and happy Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and that you are safe and healthy. So, this week we are going to be learning something new about our animals. Last week we talked about the habitat and the 5 things the animals need to survive in their habitat. Do you remember any of them? What's one? Food. What else? Water, air, shelter, good, and space to raise their young, right? Very nice job. So today we're going to think about more of the food, right? You just watched that video with Ann and Moby, right? Annie and Moby about the food chain. So we're going to be talking about the food chain today and some of the vocabulary that will help you understand what we're going to be talking about this week. All right, so this book is titled, What's on the Food Chain Menu? What do you like to eat? What's your favorite food? Ooh, that sounds yummy. What else do you like to eat? Oh, you are lucky. Yeah, that sounds super, super good. All right, so let's see what the animals in certain habitats like to eat and what they're called. All right, so this book is titled, What's on the Food Chain Menu by Julie K. Undergren? I don't know, it's hard to see the title. All right, table of contents. Oh, Lundgren. There we go, I can see it better here. Table of contents. We know what that does. That tells us what section and what page it's on. Animal needs is on page 4. Chain of life is on page 8. Finally, a fresh start is on 18. The show what you know and the glossary and the index. All right, so let's get started with animal needs. The place an animal lives is its habitat. Habitats contain everything an animal needs to survive. We know that. You are so smart. Kiss your brain. Yes, you know those 5 things. All right, let's see what this caption says. Eastern bluebirds find tasty insects, grubs, and berries to eat in their woodland habitat. Would you like to eat that? I wouldn't either. Nice work. Okay. Animal needs water, nutrients, which is food, and safe resting places, right, or their shelter. They find these non-living things in their habitat. Animals use the habitat's living things for food. Oh, look at, here's the chipmunk shelter. A chipmunk rests in its burrow. So its shelter is a burrow underground. This caption says, a thirsty moose and her calf drink water. That's the mom and the baby. Wow, does the baby look like the grown-up? Absolutely. It's just smaller. So neat. I love it when they look like their moms and their parents. Chain of life. All right, here we go. This is the food chain. Plants grow. Some animals eat plants. Some animals eat the plant eaters. A food chain links living things. All right, so this caption says mice eat grain and milk snakes eat mice. So here's the grain. What it doesn't show you is what the grain needs to survive. Every food chain starts with the sun because the sun gives its energy to the plants. Then the plant, this grain, gives its energy to the mouse. And then the mouse gives its energy to the snake. So the arrows have to face to where the energy is going, the flow of energy, or what it goes in. So this grain goes into the mouse, and the mouse goes into the snake. That's where its energy goes. Nice work. All right. Green plants are producers. They use the sun, right? So we just talked about the sun's energy, water, and air to make food for themselves. Plants begin the food chain. So plants need the sun's energy to make food. So the sun will always be first, and then it'll be a plant. Yeah. Producer. What is a producer? Green plants are producers. They use the sun's energy, water, and air to make food. Yes, for themselves. So producers make their own food. All right, get ready. Get your mirrors ready. Mirror words. Producers make their own food. Producers make their own food. Mirror me, ready? Producers make their own food. Mirrors away. Nice job. So if you think about it, if you produce something, it means to make something. So producers produce or make their own food. All right, let's see. Consumers, we have producers that make their own food. Consumers eat other living things. Herbivores eat plants, and carnivores eat other animals or meat. Right? These are vocabulary words that you heard in the Annie and Moby video. All right. Wow, look at this food chain. See how the arrows are going? So we know that this goes into this, and this goes into that. Now let's read what this text box says. So this text box is another, almost like a mini story inside of another story. It gives you other information that the author wants you to know about. Prepare to lunch on safari. What's on the menu in the African grasslands? Herds of herbivores, such as wildebeest and zebras, eat different types of leaves and grasses. The herbivores become meals for carnivores like lions and cheetah. So an herbivore only eats plants, like herbs. Herbs are different plants. So an herbivore only eats plants, and carnivores eat meat. 3 vocabulary words. Can you see these bold words? Consumers, herbivores, and carnivores. Consumers eat other living things. So producers make their own food. Consumers have to go and get their food. So it's 2 different types. All right, let's check. Omnivores are consumers too. Now remember, consumers have to go get their food. So omnivores have to go get their food. They eat both plants and animals. Plants and animals. Let's see what this caption says. Red foxes are omnivores. They eat fruit, mice, insects, frogs, and rabbits. So herbivore eats only plants. A carnivore eats only meat. An omnivore eats both. What are you? Are you an herbivore, a carnivore, or an herbivore? All right, well, let me ask you a question. Do you eat fruit? Yeah, do you eat vegetables like corn or broccoli or carrots? All right. Do you eat meat? Do you eat chicken or hamburgers? If you answered yes to both of those, the plants and fruits and the meat, you are an omnivore. I'm an omnivore. I like eating meat and plants, like salad. Yum. All right. A predator is another name for a carnivore. What was a carnivore? What does a carnivore eat? Oh, thank you. It eats meat. So predator, a carnivore is a predator. Predators hunt and eat prey. Fish, seals, and polar bears are all predators in the Arctic. All right, let's learn why. Why are they predators? This text box will tell us. Prepare to lunch in the Arctic. The Arctic's producers are very tiny plants that float in the ocean. Shrimp eat these plants. The shrimp is an herbivore because it eats plants. Then fish eat the shrimp, carnivore. And then the seals eat the fish, carnivore. And then polar bears eat the seals. So the energy from these tiny plants go into the shrimp. And then the shrimp and its energy goes into the fish. And then the fish and its energy goes into the seal. And then the seal goes into the polar bear. Phew, that is a long food chain. So the polar bear is getting all of the energy from all the different plants and animals. Forgot what they were called for a second. Crazy. All right. Finally, a fresh start. What does that mean? When plants and animals die, their bodies break down with the help of decomposers. Wait, that's a word we know from math. Decompose means to break it down. So decomposers such as bacteria and mold. Animals like earthworms and sow bugs also help break down dead plants and animals. Sow bugs munch on rotting plants. You can also call these roly-polies or pill bugs. Those are the ones that roll up. So they eat the dead stuff and they help it break down. Yeah, if they didn't do that, what would happen? A lot of garbage and dead things everywhere. Decomposers turn nature's waste or garbage into soil nutrients. Plants use these nutrients to help them grow. Then plants can begin the food chain again. It's kind of like the life cycle. It starts over again. Once it dies, then it goes into nutrients and then the plants can grow by using it. Mushrooms, a type of decomposer, recycle nutrients for new life. Look at this is growing. And look at the leaves and all the dead stuff down here. It makes the soil super healthy so the plants can grow. Thank you, decomposers. All right, show what you know. What things do animals need in their habitat? What are their 5 things? Yep, I heard water and I heard food. What else? Shelter. I heard air and space to raise their young. Nice job. Can you give an example of a food chain? We'll start with the sun. And the sun helps grass grow. What would eat the grass? Maybe a bunny. Oh, what would eat the bunny? Fox or a bear. Absolutely. So it starts with the sun and then goes to the plant and then the other animals. Who eats the plant and then who eats that animal? All right, question number 3. What would Earth be like without decomposers? What would happen if there was nothing to break apart all the dead things? What would happen to those dead things? Yeah, they would just sit there. Oh, it'd be so stinky. They wouldn't go anywhere. The whole world would just be a bunch of dead things everywhere. Whew, it's a good thing there's decomposers that help clean up all the dead things. Okay, so this glossary gives us all the definitions of the bold words. Now, the words that we're going to need for this unit are carnivores, animals that eat other animals, right? The meat eaters, consumers, living things that cannot produce their own food. So consumers have to go get their food. Herbivores, animals that eat plants only. Omnivores, they eat plants and animals. And producers, they make their own food. So now what I want you to do, now that you are introduced to that vocabulary, I want you to go to your exit ticket. There's an exit ticket today. You have to match the vocabulary to the definition. So you're going to open it through Cami and you're going to draw a line. Carnivore. What does carnivore eat? Meat. So let's find out where that one is. Carnivore. A living thing that eats other living things. Let's keep going though. An animal that only eats plants. An animal that only eats meat. An animal that eats both plants and meat. Or the feeding relationship between living things. Yep, an animal that eats only meat. So you would draw a line from carnivore to this definition. Then herbivore. An herbivore only eats plants. So we would draw a line from that one to that one. All right. So then you just turn it in through Kami and you're all set. I will see you tomorrow for another story about the food chain. See you then. Bye.